Welcome, everybody. Yeah, it's always fun following a bagpiper. So welcome to Goldey-Beacom College's Convocation for the 23-24 school year. I'm Joel Warden, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs at the college, and it's my privilege to welcome you all to this year's Convocation ceremony. As people, we use ceremonies as ways to commemorate and remember significant moments in our lives. Think, for example, of turning point moments in your life where that moment was commemorated by a ceremony. For example, perhaps a quinceañera, a bar or bat mitzvah, maybe a sweet 16. For many of you, it's possible that the most recent ceremony that marked a turning point was high school graduation, right? Well, Convocation is such a day, and it's for every single one of you. Today marks a turning point for you. If you're a first-year student, this marks the beginning of your college journey, right? If you're a senior, this marks the beginning of the last leg of that journey. If you're a sophomore or a junior, we know that every single year is a journey, right? With its ups and its downs. And so I want you to take a look around you. The folks who are sitting near you are likely the folks who are going to be encouraging you and cheering you on through those successes and those challenges. Likewise, in just a moment, I'm going to announce the participants in this morning's ceremony, and you're going to get to see the faculty and staff and administration who will be those folks who coach and challenge and encourage you along your journey. So we celebrate this with you today. And so without further ado, I'll announce the processional. Leading the processional is the faculty of Goldey-Beacom College. Dr. Melvina Brown, adjunct faculty. Beth Ann Burke, adjunct faculty. Tom Fleck, adjunct faculty. Dr. Susan Fugay-Brangers, adjunct faculty. Frank Ingram, adjunct faculty. Eric Johnson, adjunct faculty. Frank Scafidi, assistant professor of practice. Keith Fleury, Esquire, assistant professor. Dr. Scott Glenn, assistant professor. Dave Goldberg, Esquire, assistant professor. Dr. Gerard Hofling, assistant professor. Dr. Victoria Nago, assistant professor. Dr. Deanna Merritt, assistant professor and director of the Center for Professional Development and Partnerships. Dr. Evelyn Money, assistant professor. Dr. Bill Rivers, associate professor. Dr. Hal Switke, associate professor. Dr. Brett Shepard, assistant professor. Dr. Nicole Evans, associate professor. Dr. Jeffrey Thurley, associate professor. Dr. Mary Wheeling, associate professor and director of faculty development. Dr. Fatma Abdel Raouf, professor. Dr. Erin Lee Kelly, assistant professor. Dr. Deborah Leitch, professor emeritus. Followed by the administration and trustees of the college. Dr. Kevin Hunt, director of academic support services. Jeremy Benoit, director of athletics. Jocelyn Moses, dean of students. Peter Rishevi, chief information officer. Susan Mannering, vice president for finance. Dr. Charles Hammond, vice president of operations and planning. Lee Burstein, trustee. Dr. Doral Green, trustee. Erica Jorgensen, trustee. Dr. Cornelia N. Winner, chair, Board of Trustees. And Dr. Colleen Perry Keith, 14th president of Goldey-Beacom College. And now, please welcome Dr. Kevin Hunt, who will lead us in the invocation.
I invite you, if you're willing, to pray with me. Spirit of wisdom, as we begin this new year, we give thanks for gathering together. As we celebrate the class of 2027, may we recognize and nurture the talents and gifts each of these offer our community. We give thanks for our bodies, for their minds, and for ours. May we all honor ourselves and others by using our bodies and our minds, our very being, to create, to sustain, to build, and to grow. We give thanks for our differences, for the qualities that make each of us unique and vital. May we celebrate our differences as opportunities to learn and to shine, as invitations to strengthen our compassion, as challenges to illuminate the connections that bind us as one. We give thanks for those not with us today, for our families and friends who are with us in spirit. May we recognize and honor the strength, the support, and the love they have provided us in the journeys that have brought us together today in this place at this time. We give thanks for the obstacles and opportunities that lie before us. May we demonstrate courage in the face of adversity. May we find strength to help ourselves and others bridge the pitfalls in our paths. As we analyze and argue and reason and write, as we calculate and meditate and cogitate and read, we pray for guidance and peace in the moments of struggle. We pray for humility and grace in our moments of triumph. We pray to love our neighbors and ourselves as together we begin or renew our commitment to achieving greater. Spirit of wisdom, in all your beautiful names we pray. Amen. Class of 2027, it's my pleasure to introduce or to reintroduce to you, as the case may be, the president of Goldey-Beacom College, Dr. Colleen Perry Keith.
I'm glad everyone's seated. I was going to say, you may be seated because you guys have been standing there for a while. Welcome to Convocation 2023, and welcome back to our returning students, our faculty, our staff, and our trustees. I am particularly pleased today to welcome the members of the class of 2027 to your first semester at Goldey-Beacom College. You might not feel all that new today. You've already said goodbye to your families, moved in, met your roommates, participated in the freshman year experience program, and made those initial efforts to get to know your classmates, your teammates in the campus that will be your home for the next 4 years. We're glad that you chose us, and we thank you for choosing to join our community. I also want to formally welcome several people who come to GBC as employees since August of last year. In IT, we welcomed Courtney Ross, Caleb Hernandez, and Annalisa Vivona. Yay, they're here someplace, I've seen them. Ashish Shakya joined the business office team. He's back there next to my husband, Barry Keith. And Teresa Watkins will be rejoining us next week in the business office, for those of you who remember Teresa. Annie Hake, Sham Salam, and Randall Reed came to us in admissions. Beth Erie is our new face in our campus store. Josie Velez is now on our facilities team, and Perry Byers returned to help us in communications. We have several new faces in athletics, too. Alex Medina, Kyle Hinton, Joe Dare, Dylan Kaplan, Todd Jorgensen, Bianca Newsom, Adam Czar, and Matthew Goodall. Wow. And I'm not forgetting the faculty, but Dr. Warden will be introducing 4 new full-time faculty members to you in just a moment. And I'm pretty sure I don't have all of the new adjuncts accounted for, but we do want to welcome Renee Riley, Michael Simons, Eugene Davis, Monica Celli, Brittany Zolano, Amy Rothermel, Kayla Dickens, and my friend Tracy Curry. As Dr. Warden said in his initial remarks, we have ceremonies celebrating all kinds of milestones in our lives. Convocation is one that celebrates and launches the start of the academic year. But more than a ceremony or a celebration, this time this morning marks the transition we are all having. For some of us, this transition is from summer to school. For others, it could be from high school to college. We are in what's known as liminal space, where one thing ends and another is about to begin, but we aren't quite sure yet about what that new thing is or what will be required of us. The tricky part about where we are is that there's a lot of unknowns for some of us, and most of us don't like to exist in a space of unpredictability. Rest assured that the first day of school jitters will pass, and that together we will move forward and have a great year. The GBC community is not something just out there into which you'll be absorbed if you fit and against which you will struggle if you don't fit. It's not a group of like-minded people whose collective will you will somehow need to figure out if you wish to blend in. Instead, it's an ever-changing dynamic that is defined and redefined on a daily basis by all of us, and most important, by you, the students. Think about it. Each class that comes to GBC redefines our community by simply showing up. Each class is a quarter of the student body and brings to the mix, by definition, new experiences, new expectations, new aspirations, and new ways of being in the world. So welcome to Goldey-Beacom College. Welcome to this community of scholars. Welcome to the community that we will make together and remake together every day. And I am now delighted to introduce to you our speaker for this convocation, Ms. Carla Lee. I first became aware of Carla Lee in June 2022 when talking with someone about trusteeship at Goldey-Beacom. He worked with Carla at JP Morgan Chase, and what he knew about Goldey-Beacom was personified in the person of Carla Lee, which said to me, hot dang, I gotta know this girl. I reached out to Carla on LinkedIn, creeped on her profile, and have been fangirling on Carla Lee ever since. If she personifies what GBC is at our best, I will take every bit of that. She earned her MBA in International Marketing here at Goldey-Beacom and is now Vice President of Consumer Bank, where she leads the team that addresses the customer experience. She began her career in retail banking as a teller while she was earning her undergraduate degree in finance here at Goldey-Beacom. Her career in banking and finance has taken her to Goldman Sachs, Citibank, and JP Morgan Chase, where she started as an intern in corporate and investment banking and then moved into the Chase Associate Program, where she rotated through various positions, where she was able to learn the breadth of the JP Morgan Chase enterprise that eventually landed her in her current role as Vice President. Carla is described as a culture carrier and a champion of elevating diverse voices. She lives here in Wilmington with her high school sweetheart and her fur baby, Bucky. I am delighted that she accepted our invitation to speak this morning. Please join me in welcoming Carla Lee.
Good morning. Awesome. As Dr. Keith mentioned, my name is Carla Lee, and currently I'm a vice president at JP Morgan Chase within the Consumer Bank. But most importantly, a few years ago, I was sitting here in the same chair as you as a freshman at Goldey-Beacom College, and I'm so humbled and honored to be back home to share my journey with you today. I was asked to share my GBC experience and sprinkle in some words of advice, and in the spirit of transparency, I've spent weeks trying to reflect and summarize what would have settled my nerves when I was sitting in the same chair as you. So I'll warn you now, some of the stories that I'll share won't just highlight my triumphs without my trials, because that's not what you'll experience throughout your undergraduate career. And that's simply because comfort and growth cannot coexist. Instead, I hope to assure you that you've made the best decision by joining the GBC family, and you'll be in great hands for the next 4 years. Without this institution, the professors that I learned from, the friends that I gained, and the advice that I received, my journey would have looked completely different. If I start at the beginning, freshman year, I took my 3-page resume to the Career Center, where they poured into me, giving me the feedback and advice to help me articulate my story and experiences. That page would catapult me to my first exposure to financial services within the financial services industry as a bank teller at TD Bank, a role that I would juggle for the next 2 years to fund my academic studies. Sophomore year was a little more challenging. I applied for over 20 internships, and I received over 20 rejections. And to top it all off, I received my first C in a class that shall remain nameless. But that year taught me to give myself grace and to fail fast. There will be times where you'll give it your best, and your best just won't be sufficient. And there will be times where that no is really just preparing you for your next opportunity. As a junior, I landed an internship at the #1 investment bank in the world, a role that required me to relocate to Salt Lake City, Utah, and step out of my comfort zone, as I had never been away from my family and friends for more than 1 week at a time. That experience taught me the importance of being bold. That summer, I became the first GBC student to receive the Goldman Sachs Scholarship for Excellence. I made lifetime friends, worked an insane amount of hours, and I ultimately turned down my first full-time job opportunity, a decision that my father still never lets me forget about to this day. I turned down that offer because as a senior, I decided that I was going to extend my academic studies at GBC to get my MBA. And delay my introduction into the full-time workforce for another year, a choice that came with some more of those trials and triumphs that I alluded to earlier. While pursuing my MBA, I suddenly lost my grandmother, my biggest cheerleader and role model for the leader that I am today. That loss came right on the heels of me getting accepted into the Chase Associate Program, JP Morgan's 2-year leadership development program for post-MBA graduates, making me the first participant from Goldey-Beacom College and providing me with an amazing opportunity to ensure that I wouldn't be the last. That year, I learned the importance of chasing significance instead of success. If we break down what that means, success is what you do for yourself. It's innately within all of us, the drive to win and the desire to achieve greater. Significance is what you do for others. I knew my grandmother would have wanted me to continue persevering and to obtain my MBA, and through many late nights, hard work, and snack runs to Acme, I successfully got my degree in international marketing in 2020. I knew that when I finished my academic journey, I had a responsibility to reach back and to pay it forward to the institution that opened so many doors and afforded so many opportunities for me. So if you leave here with nothing else, I want to encourage you that when you chase significance instead of success, you'll be amazed at how the world will organize itself around you. Now on to the advice. Number 1, and most importantly, give yourself grace. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, and he went on to become the most famous basketball player in the world. Jeff Bezos started Amazon as an online bookstore in his garage, and now he's one of the richest people in the world. Oprah Winfrey was actually fired from a Baltimore TV station in her early career because they said that she wasn't cut out for TV. She then went on to become the most famous talk show host queen in the world. And I share that to say that failure is omnipresent, so you have to decide how do you want it to be present and how are you going to make capacity for it. Number 2, chase significance. You can be a go-giver and a go-getter, and what you do for others is just as important as what you do for yourself. The desire to succeed is already innately within all of us, but we can't reach the goals that we're aspiring to by ourselves. If you look to your left, okay, thanks. And now if you look to your right, you can see one of the greatest gifts that Goldey-Beacom College has given you, and that's each other. So ask yourself, how can you bring each other along for the journey? Number 3, be bold. There are no easy leadership positions in business. We all need difference makers and impact makers, and there's a world of good trouble to get into, so find it, no matter how big or how small. And number 4, and most importantly, achieve greater. Leave the baton further ahead than where you found it, so when the next freshman or the next alumni picks it up, they can continue to advance the legacy of Goldey-Beacom College. Class of 2027, you have your mission, and most importantly, you have each other. So go out and give it everything that you've got. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your journey. I can't wait to see your stories unfold and all the impact that you'll make. Congratulations and welcome to the family.
All right. Carla was in my public speaking class years and years ago. And she was good then, but it's really exciting to see how she has cultivated her talents and where that has taken her. So thank you, Carla. All right, now I get to introduce to you several new faculty members who are joining us full-time at the college this year. One couldn't be here because he's moving from Minnesota to be with us. So I'll do him first, and then we'll do the folks who are here. Dr. Ashik Shafi will be joining our faculty as an assistant professor of marketing. He's held assistant professorships in Minnesota, Texas, Kansas, and he has experience as a public relations executive managing marketing campaigns. Dr. Shafi's research interests include the use of social media in political public relations, as well as information processing in nonprofit advertising. His most recent publication is entitled Free Speech versus Marginalized Groups, Public and Newspaper Responses to the Charlie Hebdo Attack. So we welcome Dr. Shafi and the analytical approach that he brings to the discipline. Maybe he's streaming and watching, so we should clap for him. Next is Dr. Brett Shepard. Dr. Shepard will be joining us as a visiting assistant professor of English. So give a wave. There we go. Thank you. He has held assistant professorships in Idaho, Washington, and Pennsylvania, and now here with us. He's authored 3 award-winning poetry collections, including his 2021 Place Where Presence Was. His writings have been influenced by growing up in indigenous villages on the north slope of Alaska. So we welcome Dr. Shepard and look forward to the energy he'll bring to our writing classes and our lit classes. Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Frank Scafidi. Mr. Scafidi joins us as an assistant professor of practice in information technology. He is currently the vice president of global technology and operations, as well as the innovation team leader at Bank of America. He actually received the Goldey-Beacom College Excellence in Teaching Award as an adjunct faculty member in 2016. So we're excited to welcome him in a more permanent way to the faculty of Goldey-Beacom College. And then last but not least, I'd like to introduce Dr. Evelyn Money. Dr. Money joins our faculty as an assistant professor in accounting. She's a licensed certified professional accountant, and for the last several years, she has served as lead instructor of accounting at a local institution where she also won the Excellence in Teaching Award. This was 2018. So we're bringing good folks on. She owns her own accounting firm, which specializes in small nonprofits. And Dr. Money's most recent publication is entitled Teaching Anti-Corruption in Accounting, the first step in the accounting profession's fight against corruption. So welcome, Dr. Money. Now we get to some fun moments where we get to give out awards. But before I get to the formal awards, I hear that there was some stiff competition among the first year experience teams, and I actually get to be the dude who announces the winners. So here are the crews. The team names were the Lightning Crew, Team 11, the Goldie Guardians, 4-Bolt, Electrocutioners, Beacom Bolts, the Strikers, Red Panthers, High Voltage, and Los Amigos. All right? So the results are in, and I'm told this particular team was very spirited and competitive. So congratulations to 4-Bolt. There you go. All right. There we go. All right. And now I'd like to ask President Keith to come join me on stage as we present the Excellence in Teaching Award. The Excellence in Teaching Award is an annual award wherein faculty peers nominate a fellow professor to recognize outstanding achievement in teaching at the college. Student evaluation comments revealed themes of how passionate, caring, and engaging this professor is in the classroom. And so I want to read you some of those comments, but the names have been redacted so that, that's right. It says, this professor does a fantastic job with this course and is a pleasure and a privilege to be taught by them. This course made me want to get to know more about this subject matter. It was truly inspiring. This professor helped us through every project and was always excited and constructive when it came to feedback on our work. They empowered us. And finally, the professor allowed students to express our ideas and encouraged us to do so with one another, allowing us to share our own thoughts while also being exposed to others' ideas, introducing us to viewpoints we had not previously considered. This is what we hope happens at an institution of higher education, right? Not indoctrination, not ideology peddling, but an open exchange of ideas. Several students, of course, also wrote some version of my favorite course or my favorite professor at GBC. So, who is this mystery professor? I'll give you a couple hints. They've taught at the college for 16 years. Folks are starting to tabulate. They received their PhD from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. As an adjunct faculty member, they won the Excellence in Teaching Award in 2015. Finally, their book, Fighting the Current, The Life and Work of Evelyn Scott, was nominated for 4 awards, including the MLA First Book Award. I bet a lot of you didn't know that. So please join me in celebrating this year's Excellence in Teaching Award winner, Dr. Mary Wheeling. Sure.
I knew when my family were seated here, something's up. My beautiful daughters, Lily and Ava, are here, and my wonderful husband, Dave, is here. And I'd like to thank them most of all, but thank you very much to my peers. I love all of you. And you know, when I say that, I actually mean it, right? And students, I've had a lot of you in my classes. Raise your hand if you've been in one of my classes. Okay, so yeah, there are some upperclassmen here. And hearkening back to our special guest talk about failure, right? That was one of your points. I have failed in teaching many times, and I'm sure some people in here remember some of those times. But the grace that the students give the faculty is just as important as the grace that the faculty give the students. So that's a message for all you new folks here. We're doing something new this year, changing to Canvas, a new LMS. So we would love to have some grace going forward from our students, and we'll similarly try to muster up a lot of grace for you all. We're so glad you're here, and I just want to thank everyone for this recognition, but everyone I work with is fully deserving, more deserving of this, I think. I can't think of what else I'm supposed to say except great day. Welcome, everyone, and have a wonderful year.
Last year, we began a new award at Goldey-Beacom, the President's Service Award. A donor-funded award, this award is to recognize employees for extraordinary service to the college. All employees except those on the executive leadership team are eligible for the award as long as they have been employed for a minimum of 3 years. This year, 20 individuals were nominated by their colleagues. That doubles the number of nominees from last year, with 3 people receiving multiple nominations. Each nominee provided some incredible service to all of us here at GBC. Here are some examples that were repeated several times in the various nominations received. The first one, she's gone above and beyond in my first 6 months here to help me better understand the GBC community. From her walking me around on a tour to show some great things we have on campus, to helping me late night with questions I might receive from a recruit, I know I can always count on her to answer the phone or respond to my text quickly. She has made my transition here very easy. He understands that nothing is more satisfying than inspiring a student during their formative years. Influencing a life choice or counseling an adolescent on a personal, educational, or professional problem can be the difference between realized potential and wasted possibilities. This nominee loves to guide students on how to prepare for the challenges of life. Another nominee, she always goes above and beyond to assist our students and staff with almost anything, even things that are probably not part of her job description. A lot of the things I learn about the college comes from her. I don't know how she knows so much. Another nominee. This nominee has taught as an adjunct faculty member for many years, teaching a number of different courses, and even co-creating a class with a full-time faculty member. He serves on various college committees and even prepared, administered, and analyzed an adjunct faculty survey to see how the college could strengthen the adjunct experience from which the college would benefit. Our next nominee goes above and beyond in service to students, bringing professionals from a wide variety of backgrounds and experiences onto campus to connect with students. The college calendar is dotted with these wonderful events, perhaps even rivaling the Student Affairs Office. Our next nominee takes a personal interest in the success of her students, whether it is tutoring them after hours, encouraging them to learn more and apply that knowledge to their writing, or letting them know someone cares about their success and being sure they know that they matter. Writing can be hard and frustrating for many, but with her support and guidance, our students find their voice and discover their ability to show it in their writing. Another nominee, I have observed this colleague helping students, faculty, and staff for the 7.5 years that I've worked at GBC. She always makes students a top priority, perhaps because she was a GBC student herself, or more likely because this is not just a job to her. GBC's mission and values are not just words in a statement to her. They represent what she's done and how she has lived since joining the GBC family as a college freshman in 1984. They are woven into the fabric of her being and the tapestry of her life. Every nominee was deserving, and I could go on for another 30 minutes reading the accolades that were shared in their nominations. We are grateful to all for their work and to their colleagues who took the time to nominate them. So you can imagine how difficult it was for the committee to make a decision on winners. This year, we have 2 winners, 1 member of the faculty and 1 member of the staff. They will receive a framed certificate and a $500 cash award in their August 31st paycheck. Our first winner, a member of the staff, has been at GBC for 5 years. She consistently demonstrates exceptional dedication, professionalism, and commitment to serving our students, and usually exceeds their expectations. She is known by all of us for her exceptional ability to understand and address student needs. Her empathetic approach, active listening skills, and genuine concern contribute to high satisfaction and positive feedback. She's not only highly skilled in her individual role, but also as an exceptional team player. She willingly collaborates with colleagues, offers support and guidance, and actively contributes to a positive and productive work environment. Whether it's providing prompt and accurate information to students, assisting faculty and staff with their needs, or representing the college in a professional manner, Tatiana Marshall, our coordinator, of student engagement, leaves a positive impression.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. I was about to go call about the inflatables.
She was about to go call about the inflatables, so we're interrupting her work here. And there you are. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everyone, and I'm excited to get the year started. That's it. Thank you.
I always love watching the faces, you know, like the, oh my gosh, I gotta walk up there now. Our second award winner comes from the faculty at GBC. This winner has taught at GBC for 8 years, 6 of them as an adjunct, and the last 2 as a full-time member of our faculty. During those 8 years, he has made an extraordinary impact on the GBC community. Most are probably not aware of all he does, even outside of the GBC community, that benefits the GBC community. He is active in groups that support diversity, inclusion, and cultural effectiveness, and is a published author. Inside GBC, beyond his teaching role, he serves as the faculty athletic representative, a member of various committees, taking on guiding several students through their dissertation process. More importantly, he has been of great support and mentorship to the students and instrumental in helping to shift the GBC environment to one of high academic inclusivity. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Scott Glenn.
I saw my wife, I'm thinking maybe she enrolled in a class or something. I'm truly honored, and it's a blessing to be here. I look at your faces, it just reminds me of Monday when I have a class in here. We're teaching a class in here, and I can't wait to get started. I'd like to thank from the top all the way across all stakeholders here at Goldey, starting with the board, outstanding Connie, Mark, and everyone else who isn't here in terms of the board. To our president, I've been around leaders, sport, college, high school, military. Dr. Keith, I put on the Mount Rushmore of leaders in my life, if not the #1 leader. Let's give her a big hand. Thank you to my wife for over 30 years. She sits next to me on the couch. I'm doing research, I'm texting, lesson plans on a regular basis. On vacation, I'm checking in with College Goldey-Beacom, making sure everything's still set in place so that we can move forward. In other words, it's a part of my life. Goldey-Beacom, education, and you, not just 4 years, but for the rest of your life, you'll be a part of my life. So thank the students, because that's why I'm here, and that's why we are here. So give yourselves a hand as well. To the support staff, so many people to name, academics, the academic advising. I think at Debbie Harbaugh, we have like osmosis. I'll get an email from Debbie before it's done, I'm like, okay, no problem, I got it. Or I'll tell Debbie I need something, she's like, nope, no problem. Because of the communication and the rapport to make sure that you students are good to go. Career services, my goodness. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, no matter what year you are, walk into career services and get your job, get some help, resume writing. I wish I would have had that in high school and in college. Beth and her crew over there, they do a good job. Let's give them a big hand as well. Student affairs, energetic, going with our dean who's tied to that, Jocelyn. They do an outstanding job day in and day out with my granddaughter who just got an award over there. I call her granddaughter. Make sure you see Mom too at the end. So many people, career affairs, academic affairs, the support system. Dr. Warden, who reminds me of my wife because of his patience. Dr. Hammond, so many people I don't want to leave out. This is a great place to be. I've come full circle. And a lot of students say to me, I want to take the road that you took. And I start talking about Robert Frost up in New England. You don't want to take the road I took. But I'm thankful that I took it so that I could be here to engage with you internally as well as the external stakeholders here at Goldey. I love you. God bless all of you. One thing I'd like to say is, in all that is good, I am who I am because of I am. Thank you.
Hands it off to his wife. That was a good thing. Did you hear that? Hal said, good husband. We've heard through this ceremony this morning about today is a day of new beginnings, a time to be welcomed, and a time to embrace new people, new ideas, and new opportunities, and a time to get involved in our communities on and off campus. Whether you are starting here at Goldey-Beacom as a first-time, first-semester freshman, or whether you are starting your senior year here and will be graduating in 9 months, regardless of what your major is or where you come from, I encourage you, get outside your comfort zone. Get to know and understand people very different from yourself. Take a look at the people around you here. We're all a mix of backgrounds, of influences, and experiences. Over my 4 years here at GBC, I've seen students taking the time to find out about one another and have watched friendships blossom. It's like what Carla said. I think Carla said it best when she said that comfort and growth cannot coexist, and the friends she made here were a crucial part of her journey. By knowing, debating, and connecting with this sweeping range of personalities, races, and experiences, we all grow to be more thoughtful and well-rounded adults. But there's another aspect of diversity that I think you need to be aware of, a diversity of thought. It's the diversity of thought as represented by those who teach you. You see us here with our academic gowns on, and with these things around our neck called an academic hood. And I'm not gonna bust on you, Jared, this year, for the first time. The colors inside the hoods, there are colors. Mine is scarlet and gray because my doctorate came from Ohio State. The colors represent the colleges and universities at which we did our graduate, whether master's or doctoral research and training. The colors in our hoods represent a college or university, but more than that, they represent different philosophies and different approaches to teaching and learning. The gift that the college gives its students, the gift that Goldey-Beacom gives all of you, is the gift of different perspectives that serve to make you a bit more tentative about what you think you know. By that, I mean you learn about a subject, but you learn about that subject from different viewpoints because of the different approaches to teaching and learning that our faculty bring to that subject, which are informed by their own experiences as a student somewhere else. You want to have as many colors as possible represented in the hoods Because at the end of the day, that means you graduate as a more informed person and can bring your synthesis of that knowledge to do great things in your chosen field of study. It's the truly remarkable gift of college and the gift that Goldey-Beacom College proudly gives you. Now, as we close out this opening convocation, I leave you with this benediction. As our classes begin, may we strive toward excellence in all that we do. As we seek to get involved, may our voices rise up to pronounce justice and peace in the world. As we walk to and fro, may we sing of joy, even in the lonely places. As we develop relationships, may we celebrate and lift up those around us. As we dream of our future, may our achievements grow and cause growth in our communities. And may we all know of the overwhelming blessings of the one who created all things. Let us go forth as the community of Goldey-Beacom College.